Mr. Bond, I was expecting you. Say, why are you running around so much? Do you think the sky is falling or something?
See what I did there?
And I know you ran about 5 miles into the middle of this lake and that nobody was behind you, but check now. Yeah! It makes no sense, I know, but it is what it is. What's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today I'm bringing it back to my James Bond marathon of films with the 23rd film in the never-ending spy series, and probably my personal favorite, it's Skyfall. After nearly dying from being shot by a sniper rifle, an incredibly vulnerable and human James Bond must track down a mysterious yet brilliant cyber-terrorist by the name of Raul Silva that's been releasing the names of undercover agents and has a vendetta against M. This may force Bond to return to his roots to stop Silva before it's too late. Believe it or not, this is at least the 4th time that I've seen this movie, as well as the 4th time that I've reviewed it. It might actually be the movie that I've reviewed the most times in my life, and it's understandable as to why. Daniel Craig's Bond has never shied away from approaching this character in new and different ways, and Skyfall is no different. While yes, the basics of a classic James Bond film are still there, this is the most vulnerable and human I've ever seen from Bond. Right from the get-go, before anything even happens. They make sure to tell the audience that this dude is human. He gets shot in the shoulder, and I don't even know if this is true or not, but it feels like it's the first time a bullet has ever actually hit him, other than maybe just graze him in the past. And for the first time, you're seeing, blood seep into his shirt. You're thinking, this guy really isn't invulnerable, he can get hurt. And that's just the beginning. He immediately gets gunned down by that sniper, making him fall several dozen feet to what feels like his death. I mean, it can't be his death, but gosh darn it, it feels like that. And from there on out, in order to be reinstated to 00 status, he must pass a physical evaluation, in which he fails. But because M has faith in him, she reinstates him anyway. I mean, there's some seriously human elements to this film, and I love it. Bond isn't the only believably human character either. M is as well, and she has never been at the forefront more than she was in Skyfall. And also, the bad guy, Silva, he's also really human. Yeah, I mean, he had past scars that makes him physically or visually memorable as a villain, but his motivations were unlike past Bond villains. He wasn't just stealing X resource in order to sell it back to the world at a profit. No, for this guy, it was personal. And I'd never seen a Bond villain not go for world domination in some form or fashion, but rather gun for MI6, and I loved Silva as the villain here. And bringing it back to Judi Dench, I think this is her best performance in the role. She's always been the best M we've ever had because she wasn't afraid to actually go out into the field and be a part of the action, and the same can be said here. And it's hard to explain why it was better here in Skyfall than it ever has in the past, but I mean, that's how it was. And I guess a part of that had to do with how personal and human the plot really was. Past that, you've got immaculate cinematography, editing, and that freaking Skyfall theme song, which I still to this day consider to be the best song we've ever seen from the series. I don't know, I reserve this word for most films, but Skyfall feels flawless. The kind of flawless that almost seems like it has to be a mistake because it's so rare to get so much right. I even noticed Albert Finney's character at the end, and I immediately thought this character had to be written for Sean Connery or something to make a cameo, and it turned out that's exactly what it was. But the director thought inviting Connery to make an appearance would be the wrong choice, since it would be a distraction for the viewers taking him out of the movie. Because that's Sean Connery right there. And I have to say, they made the right choice in not having him return. As much as it would have been awesome and been another amazing shout out to the history of the series, it definitely would have taken me out of the film, even by a little. And in his own right, Albert Finney did a pretty good job as that character. So let's quickly go over my final score. From a technical vantage point, I loved nearly everything in this movie. There was only one area that I didn't score full points to, and that was probably the acting. Because even though I think everybody in the movie did a remarkable job there, that they all had their own challenges that they had to overcome in order to impress with their acting abilities, I still had to admit that A Best Actor award would never go to Daniel Craig in this film. He does a great job, yeah, but it was never that level of good. So acting got a score of 3 out of 4 for me. Everything else was perfect. The visuals, cinematography, editing, music, story depth, dialogue, originality, premise, narrative arc, everything impeccable. This score is 98%. My bias score, or how I felt about the movie in general, perfection. I've never seen a Bond movie work this well from a cinematic or entertainment level. Again, I almost feel like they simply stumbled upon genius here, but whatever the case, I can't not praise it. My bias score is a perfect 100%, and when we average out the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 99%. 99 out of 100 possible stars, or an A+ letter grade. Funny enough, every time that I've scored this movie, it has gone up 1% every time. So if I ever end up reviewing it a 5th time, who knows, maybe at that point I'll give it the incredibly rare 100%. But only time will tell. Guys, what are your thoughts on Skyfall? Is this the best James Bond movie in existence, or do you think it mostly is just overhyped? I ask this because in the past couple of years, I've been seeing more and more people say that Spectre is the better film. And I guess we'll find that out next time. Until then, make sure to hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my review of Spectre. And until then, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the #1 critic that I go to when I need a movie pick. Thanks for joining up with us. We think